In the year 2378, Earth was not the blue jewel it once was, hailed in ancient Terran poetry and songs. Its surface, scarred by centuries of environmental collapse and reckless exploitation, had long been abandoned in favor of sprawling orbital habitats and far-flung colonies. Yet, Earth remained more than a relic. It was a symbol, a cradle of humanity now caught in the crossfire of an interstellar war that had not been of its choosing. Commander Helen Sinclair stood on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, staring out at the debris field that orbited the once verdant planet. The remnants of 1,000 battles cast shadows on the surface below, a somber reminder of the war's toll. "Commander, all decks report ready for the operation," Lieutenant Anders reported, his voice steady despite the gravity of their mission. Sinclair nodded, her eyes never leaving the viewport. "Begin the descent. It's time we took back what's ours." As the Voyager descended through the layers of debris, the crew aboard felt the weight of history upon them. They were not just fighting for Earth, but for the right of humanity to exist as sovereign and free, a sentiment echoed in every corner of the human diaspora. Below, the ruins of old Earth awaited them, a battleground chosen for its symbolism and strategic value. The enemy, an alliance of species known as the Krell Collective, had fortified the ancient city of New York, turning its skeletal skyscrapers into towering fortresses and its submerged burrows into traps of war. But humanity had something the Krell lacked: resolve born of desperation and a connection to the ground they now fought to reclaim. Sinclair's plan was simple and bold: a direct assault on the Krell's command center located in the heart of Old Manhattan, a statement that humanity would no longer be pushed into the darkness of space. "Deploy the drop pods," Sinclair ordered, her voice a beacon of determination. The Voyager shuddered as dozens of pods, each containing a squad of Earth's finest, launched towards the surface. Inside one such pod was Sergeant Miles Hawkins, his heart racing as the familiar pull of Earth's gravity tugged at him. Around him, his squad checked their gear, their faces a mix of fear and fierce anticipation. The pod shook violently as it breached the atmosphere, the skies of Earth burning red around them. Miles gripped his rifle, the metal cold and reassuring against his palms. "Listen up," he shouted over the roar. "Remember why we're here. We're not just fighting for land or politics. We're fighting for the right to come home. Stay sharp, stay together." The pod landed with a bone-jarring thud in the waters of what was once known as the Hudson River. The squad wasted no time. They emerged into the water, wading through the ruins of the submerged cityscape. Above them, the battle raged on, the skies alight with the fire of ships and weaponry. But Miles and his squad had only one goal: to reach the Krell command center. As they navigated through the flooded streets, they encountered pockets of Krell resistance. The enemy was formidable, their exoskeletons shimmering with a biometallic sheen that made them nearly impervious to standard weapons. But humanity had adapted, developing ammunition that could pierce even the toughest armor. The squad's sharpshooter, Corporal Lee, took point, her shots finding their marks with deadly precision. Each fall of a Krell warrior felt like a step closer to reclaiming their home. Hours passed, each moment a brutal dance of advance and defend. As they approached the heart of Manhattan, the resistance intensified. The Krell were not just defending a strategic location, they were protecting their stronghold on Earth. Finally, the towering ruins of what was once the Empire State Building came into view, now a grotesque fortress bristling with alien technology. This was their target. "Form up," Miles ordered, his voice resolute. "We breach on my mark." The squad set explosives at the building's base, the charges echoing the pounding of their hearts. With a deafening roar, the entrance collapsed, opening a path inside. They entered the belly of the beast, the dark corridors lit only by the intermittent flashes of gunfire. Step by step, they fought their way up, each floor reclaimed, adding to the hope that swelled within them. Above, Commander Sinclair watched as the first signals of success reached the Voyager. Her heart swelled with pride and sorrow, knowing the cost of each small victory. Yet, this was but the beginning of Earth's last stand. As more human forces descended from the stars, the battle for Earth shifted. It was no longer a fight for survival, but a declaration of humanity's indomitable spirit. A siren's call that would echo across the stars, rallying all of humanity to reclaim their ancient home, no matter the cost. As the first day of battle drew to a close, Miles looked out at the horizon, where the sun broke through the clouds, casting rays of light over the battered city. They had taken the first step, a step filled with the hope and fury of a species too stubborn to yield. And tomorrow, they would fight again. The night provided no respite, however. The Krell, understanding the symbolic significance of the ancient city to humanity, mounted a counterattack under the cover of darkness. Their weapons hummed through the night air, casting an eerie glow over the water-soaked avenues and shattered buildings. In a makeshift command center inside the Empire State Building, now reclaimed as a human stronghold, Miles and his squad gathered around a holographic map, plotting their next move. Their faces were illuminated by the soft blue light of the map, each line and dot representing life or death. "We've got Krell reinforcements coming in from the west," Corporal Lee reported, pointing to a cluster of red icons moving steadily toward their position. "Looks like they're trying to encircle us." Sergeant Hawkins studied the map, his mind racing through scenarios. "We need to hold this line," he said firmly. "If we lose this building, we lose the signal it's giving to everyone out there. Earth is not yet lost." The squad nodded, understanding the weight of their task. They were not just soldiers. They were symbols of resistance, beacons of hope for every human still fighting. The night's battle was fierce. The Krell, with their advanced technology and seemingly limitless numbers, pushed hard against the human defenses. But the humans, fueled by a mixture of desperation and the strategic genius of their commanders, held their ground. Explosions rocked the lower floors periodically as the Krell attempted to breach the human defenses. Each explosion was met with a chorus of shouts and gunfire as humans repelled wave after wave of attackers. Miles himself was in the thick of it, leading from the front. His armor was scorched and dented, his face smeared with sweat and grime, but his resolve never wavered. He moved through his troops, offering words of encouragement, reminding them of what they were fighting for. "It's more than just this city, more than just this planet," he yelled over the din of battle. "It's about proving that humanity will not go quietly into the night." As dawn approached, the intensity of the Krell attack waned. The first light of morning revealed the cost of the night's defense. The area around the Empire State Building was littered with debris and the remnants of fallen warriors, both human and Krell. Commander Sinclair, aboard the USS Vanguard, received the reports from the surface with a heavy heart. Each casualty was a stark reminder of the war's brutality. Yet, the reports also spoke of incredible acts of bravery and resilience, stories of soldiers who had stood their ground against impossible odds, of medics who had risked their lives to save others, and of engineers who had kept critical systems running despite the chaos. As the sun rose fully over the horizon, casting long shadows over the broken city, a momentary peace settled over the battlefield. Both sides, exhausted by the night's conflict, paused to regroup. Miles took this opportunity to rally his troops. They gathered in the shadow of the Empire State Building, looking to him for guidance. "We held them," he began, his voice carrying across the assembled soldiers. "Through the night, through everything they threw at us, we held them. This is our ground, our home, and we will not yield it." Cheers erupted from the tired but spirited soldiers, their morale lifted by the words of their sergeant. But the war was far from over. Intelligence reports indicated that the Krell were amassing a larger force, preparing for a decisive strike that could potentially overwhelm the human defenses. "We need to strike first," Commander Sinclair declared in a secure transmission to her ground forces. "We can't wait for them to come at us again. We take the fight to them." Plans were quickly drawn up for a counteroffensive. The human forces, utilizing guerrilla tactics and the intimate knowledge of their ancestral home, began to push forward, targeting key Krell positions around the city. The battles that followed were brutal, each block and building contested with a ferocity that spoke to the desperation of both sides. The humans, leveraging their adaptability and fierce determination, began to slowly turn the tide. Each small victory brought them closer to their ultimate goal, a free Earth. As the story of Earth's last stand spread across the colonies and habitats, more human forces rallied to the cause. Ships that had once stood neutral now descended into the Earth's atmosphere, their crews eager to join the fight for their home. The war for Earth had begun in earnest, a testament to humanity's resilience and their unyielding desire to reclaim what was once theirs. It was a war marked not just by the clash of weapons, but by the indomitable spirit of a species fighting for its place in the galaxy.